how can generative AI, artificial intelligence, help creative writers if used properly? Well, we are joined by Mr. Arthur Goldstuck, Wide Worx CEO. Arthur, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you've written more than 20 books and have been at the forefront of understanding technological development for decades. Talk to us about the impact of AI in the current digital technical evolution in our daily lives.
Thanks, Alicia. Well, it's exactly 20 books, and number 20 came out this week, which was The Hitchhiker's Guide to AI. And the reason I wrote the book is because I've been exploring the uses of AI over the last decade or so, and realized that most people think it only arrived now with ChatGPT and generative AI. So part of the idea of the book was to show how widely it is used and how widely all of us are, in fact, using it all the time. So anything from Google Maps and Waze to predictive text in WhatsApp is using a form of artificial intelligence. Now with generative AI, you are able to generate fresh content, new content. I hesitate to call it original content because it's all based on what's already out there. And that applies to articles, stories, papers, as well as artwork, and now even video. There are now new tools that have just emerged that allow you to type in a line of text to describe the video you want to create, and artificial intelligence will create it for you. So that's what's changed. But a lot of people think this will do away with creativity. I argue differently. I argue that it's going to boost creativity because it's going...
Yes, go ahead.
It's going to help us break through those creative blocks when we can't come up with ideas, or we need to move forward with an idea and we're not sure what direction to go in. AI is going to help us, guide us, and sometimes make decisions for us, but we still have to do the work in order to be original.
Absolutely. I mean, Arthur, how can then generative AI be used to help creative writers in the proper context, like editing, grammar, etc.?
There's in fact an entire chapter on the book, which I call Human Rights, but WRITES, which the idea is that you can use AI to help you writing, but ultimately the human being is doing the writing. But there are incredible ways that it can help writers. So for example, if you are trying to think of an idea around a particular topic, you can ask AI to help you come up with ideas. Or for example, you can say to them, I want to write about climate change in Africa. You can ask any of these AI platforms to give you some ideas. You can ask it, give me some ideas for writing about climate change in Africa. So that's the idea stage. It helps you come up with ideas, concepts, and the like. Then you can ask it what subtopics or what specific issues or details or history should I touch on when I write this? And it will give you a fairly comprehensive list. Or you can say to it, this is what I've written so far. What have I left out if I want this article to be complete, for example? And it will deliver that information. The one proviso is that it won't accurately give you facts. It will pretend to give you facts, but every fact that you get from AI, you've got to double check. Because as I say in the book, these generative AI platforms are language models. They predict language and what language should follow in terms of one sentence following another. They're not fact models. They're not designed to fact check or do your research for you. So one's got to be very careful of how one uses it.
And of course, Arthur, I mean, there's also fears that if it falls in the wrong hands, it could be detrimental. But how, in terms of your research, how are ordinary people reacting to AI? I mean, are you seeing a general interest across all spectrums, or it's still a very concentrated, marginalized space that is used only by millennials or the younger generation? And how are creative industries themselves reacting to the innovation that comes with AI? I mean, recently, some of our anchors here were victims of a scam that was their images were used to sell a product using an AI-generated message with their faces, and it looked so real that a normal person couldn't even distinguish the fact that it was a non-factual message. So this really could be detrimental if used incorrectly as well.
Well, it is already in the wrong hands, but it's also in the right hands, you could say. It goes back to the beginning of the internet when people predicted that it would be a force for evil. Well, it is a force for evil, but it's far more a force for good. And same with AI. It can be put to misuse. It can be used for criminal activity and misinformation and dishonesty and fraud, especially. But at the same time, its benefits far outweigh all of those negatives. So one of the things that you have to appreciate, and you always had to on the internet, is always put on your critical thinking cap. Even before generative AI came along, fake news was proliferating, misinformation, conspiracy theories. And I always used to tell people, think critically. You've got a brain. Don't just accept blindly these bizarre stories that you are being fed. During the pandemic, the conspiracy theories were astonishing. And I couldn't believe intelligent people falling for that. People who still believe that the moon landing was a hoax is an example. So it's been an issue all along that people don't think critically, and it's easy to fool people. But
Absolutely.
you didn't need generative AI to fool them. The flip side of that, of course, is that the creative community is worried. The music industry is worried. Artists are worried because it can shortcut the process of creating music or art. But at the moment, the music industry is pushing back hard against pure AI work, where it's collaboration between humans and AI, and it produces good music. Few people complain about that because it's like using, for example, a synthesizer to create good music. People might have complained if they were purists right at the start, but now it's a standard part of making music. And I do believe that AI as a collaborative tool is going to be a central part of making music in future.
Very introspective there. Thank you so much for that insight. That is Mr. Arthur Goldstuck, the CEO of Wide Worx, talking to us about using AI in the creative space.